A young boy at school called Tommy is always in trouble. Stealing, pinching, bullying. His misdemeanours are endless. Then one day, the head teacher calls his mother in to tell her that they have no choice but to expel the boy. This time he's been found nking in the classroom. "You know it's a big problem," says the head teacher. "You've got to stop him from doing it." "How?" she asks. "Well, tell him he'll go blind if he carries on like that." When they get home, Mum insists that Dad goes upstairs and has a word with him. "Go and explain what will happen," she says. So Dad goes up to his son's bedroom and starts to talk to him in a stern voice, warning him of the dangers of what he is doing and the awful consequences it can have. "Hold on a minute, Dad," says the little boy. "I'm over here." One day, a man who had been stranded on a deserted island for over 10 years sees an unusual speck on the horizon. "It's certainly not a ship," he thinks to himself. As the speck gets closer and closer, he begins to rule out the possibilities of a small boat, then even a raft. Suddenly, emerging from the surf, comes a drop-dead, gorgeous blonde woman wearing a wetsuit and scuba gear. She approaches the stunned guy and says, "Tell me, how long has it been since you've had a cigarette?" 10 years, replies the stunned man. With that, she reaches over and unzips a waterproof pocket on her left sleeve and pulls out a pack of cigarettes. He takes one, lights it, takes a long drag and says, "Man, that's amazing." "And how long has it been since you've had a sip of bourbon?" she asks him. Trembling, the castaway replies, 10 years. She reaches over, unzips her right sleeve, pulls out a flask and hands it to him. He opens the flask, takes a long swig and says, "Wow, that's absolutely fantastic." At this point, she starts slowly unzipping the long zipper that runs down the front of her wetsuit, looks at the man seductively and asks, "And how long has it been since you played around?" With tears in his eyes, the guy falls to his knees and sobs, "Oh my God! Don't tell me you've got a set of clubs in there." A Canadian park ranger is giving some ramblers a warning about bears. Brown bears are usually harmless. They avoid contact with humans, so we suggest you attach small bells to your rucksacks and give the bears time to get out of your way. However, grizzly bears are extremely dangerous. If you see any grizzly bear droppings, leave the area immediately. "So how do we know if they're grizzly bear droppings?" asks one of the ramblers. "It's easy," replies the ranger. "They're full of small bells." A couple saw an advertisement for a rooster named Kenny in the paper for $100 and got curious. They called the seller and asked why he was so expensive. He said the rooster will fertilize everything he can get a hold of and was a sure thing. He even talks occasionally. They went to see him. When they arrived, the farmer let the rooster out of the cage and he made a beeline to the hen house. After he was done with all of the hens, he ran straight for the pig pen, then the horses. He nailed everything on the farm before the farmer put him back away. The couple figured he would be a good buy, not only for the hens, but as a conversation piece. They hadn't heard him talk, but thought nothing of it. After they brought him home, they let him out of his cage, and he did the same thing as before. The couple didn't stay around to watch, and just went in the house for dinner and bed. The next day, they woke up and went to check on Kenny to find him laying stone-cold dead in the middle of the yard with buzzards circling above. The guy was distraught but grabbed a bag and walked over to Kenny. The man mumbled to himself, "Such a shame, he must have humped himself to death." Kenny looked up with one eye open and said, "Keep it down, they're getting closer." A dog is on safari in the jungle with his master. While chasing butterflies, as a dog in the jungle is inclined to do, he realizes that he has gotten himself all sorts of lost. He wanders into a clearing, and on the other side he sees a jaguar. The jaguar, having never seen a dog before, hesitates, wondering, what kind of animal is that? But the dog thinks, oh, it's a jaguar, and starts running. The jaguar gives chase. While running, the dog comes across a pile of animal bones and suddenly stops, waiting for the jaguar to catch up. Slowly, the jaguar approaches, but the dog just waits while it sneaks up on him. When the jaguar is very close, the dog says loudly, "Yummy! What a delicious jaguar I just ate." The jaguar looks at the bones and then at the dog. Being uncertain of the dog's prowess, the jaguar slinks away. A monkey, who was sitting in a nearby tree, saw the whole thing. Wanting to get in good with the jaguar, the monkey swings down and tells him that the dog just made a huge fool out of him. The jaguar is furious, and with the monkey riding on his back, he begins to run back to where the dog was. The dog sees the monkey riding the jaguar, and he knows he's been exposed. The dog wonders what he should do now, but rather than run, he turns his back on them, facing the bones, and waits. When he hears the jaguar is close enough to pounce, the dog exclaims loudly, "Hurry up, monkey! I told you to bring me another jaguar to eat an hour ago." At a family gathering, a young boy suddenly lets out a noisy fart. "Mister, manners please. You shouldn't do that in front of your grandma." "Sorry, Dad. I didn't know it was her turn." A man was in big trouble. His business was failing, and it looked like he was facing bankruptcy. As a last resort, he entered the local church and, on his knees, prayed fervently. "Oh God, please don't let this happen to me. Please let me win the lottery." But Saturday night, he had no luck. In the following week, the situation worsened. The man lost his house and all his possessions, so he went back into the church and prayed desperately, "Oh, please, please, please let me win the lottery." But on Saturday, he had no luck. The following Monday, his wife and children left him, and he was now completely alone. He ran into the church, got down on his knees and begged, "Oh God, everything is gone. I have nothing left. Have mercy on me, I beg you. Why don't you help me win the lottery?" At that moment, there was a tremendous bang, a bright flashing light, and God boomed, "Help me out with this. Go buy a ticket." A jealous husband hired a private detective to check on the movements of his wife. The husband wanted more than a written report. He wanted video of his wife's activities. A week later, the detective returned with a video. They sat down together to watch it. Although the quality was less than professional, the man saw his wife meeting another man. He saw the two of them laughing in the park. He saw them enjoying themselves at an outdoor cafe. He saw them dancing in a dimly lit nightclub. He saw the man and his wife participate in a dozen activities with utter glee. "I just can't believe this," the distraught husband said. The detective said, "What's not to believe?" "It's right up there on the screen," the husband replied. "I can't believe that my wife could be so much fun.